Janice is as twisted as Esther.
Hola, kumusta? This is your amigang guapa, Zamieca. We survived all the stressful Mondays of 2021 and today is 2022's first Thrift and True Crime Tuesday. Yes, I wasn't able to film the entire January because we were in Southern Leyte. My grandfather died and we were hit by Super Typhoon Odette. But I'm back. Yes, if you are a new Zambi, hi, mabuhay. I am Zamieca, a science research specialist by day and a true crime enthusiast by my Google search history. Basically, I cover true crimes in hopes to bring awareness, but in style. So if thrifting and true crimes go together in your cup of tea, then I suggest that you subscribe on our Tuesday Crime because this is zamieca.manila,
Your thrift and true crimes channel.
Please comment down below if you happen to know someone who does exactly like this, like thrift and true crimes, because I'm gonna bet my ass I did this first. Last year, we left off the case of Guillermo Latorre of Samar, a stepfather who massacred his two stepchildren. Yes, if you haven't watched it, you can watch it here, maybe later, or you can listen to Spotify because we are also now a podcast. Through Anchor, we are available at Breaker, Radio Public, and Google Podcast. For this episode, it is yet again another double murder case, and it is the highly requested case of the Maguad siblings. Sis, late kay ka. I know.
But have you seen the videos prior to this? My God, just a mere recitation of what's already written in a single article. Mali-mali pa. We do the dickings here, Zammies.
My bad. Let me introduce first Zam and Micah, my alter egos. This episode is going to be long since this is an up-to-date episode from the date of the crime up to arresting the suspects. And since our channel may tackle sensitive matters like crime scene description, drugs, SA, adult dialogues for the purposes of education and awareness. So, warning.
The following video contains graphic materials that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences.
But my grammar is far more deadly than all the murderers that we will encounter in this channel. If you are a grammar Nazi, you'll die here. But I hope you endure, dear. Viewers' discretion is advised. For today's thrift fit, I love the self-portrait inspired white three-sister dress. I am a botany major, but I couldn't seem to figure what red flower is the print. Nevertheless, I love it. My favorite is its open back details and its frill with delicate white laces. What do you think of this dress? I am also thinking to sell this dress actually. I'll post it on my IG so you may want to follow me at Zamieca. Alam kong napaka-tempting kasing mag-ukay ngayon, but I do not advise. If you really wish to, please be cautious or thrift online instead. The Maguad family is the face of an established middle-class family in the Philippine setting. The father, Cruz Maguad, is a newly promoted teacher 3, while Lovella Maguad is a school principal. The couple had two kids, the 18-year-old Crisel Gwen and 16-year-old Crisville Louie. They are from Barangay Bagontapay, Lang, North Cotabato. Crisville Louie, 16, fondly called by Mr. and Mrs. Maguad as Boy Boy. Boy Boy was described as someone you can relay your problems to. Like he just knows the right words to say and that his presence brings joy around the people with him. And also, despite his stubbornness, he is said to be kind towards others. Crisel Gwen, the daughter, just turned 18 last July 24, 2021. Gwen was an aspiring medical doctor, so she took a preparatory for medicine course at the University of Southern Mindanao. Yes, not yet a graduating doctor.
You're not correcting the misinformation from other videos, are you?
Claro, Ana, nakataka dito nga content creator. We're not here for that. Anyway, Gwen was described as someone who is a good companion, a good sister, a good daughter. Gwen has a lively personality, an achiever at school, and also she is beauty and brains. She joined a pageant where she bagged a crown as Miss English Festival 2019. Gwen had it all: a loving and supportive parents, beauty and brains, great character. She was willing to help other people in need. In fact, it was her kindness that brought another member to the family. In one of the many family occasions, Gwen met the 17-year-old Janice, who at that time was a help to one of the Maguad's family relatives or family acquaintance. And then, friendly as Gwen, they became friends, and Janice told Gwen that she had no parents anymore. She had nowhere to go, and she had been in and out of the custody of the SWD. They became friends, and then later, Janice told Gwen that she was actually tired of taking care of the two kids who she was taking care of during that time, and she wishes to live with Gwen's family.
Did Janice really insisted?
Yes, Zai, si Mrs. Maguad kaisi mga to sa interview. And by the way, it's Janice, not Janice. So, the kind-hearted Gwen asked her parents to let Janice stay with them, to which her parents said yes to. Yes, and on that day that Janice will be picked sa 7-Eleven, Mrs. Maguad said to herself that if she won't take this girl in, she was afraid that something might happen to her, or worse, she could become a prostitute. So she supported the idea of her daughter Gwen.
But is it really being a prostitute the worst Janice could become?
So Janice moved in. She became the family schoolgirl. So pinag-aral siya ng pamilya. I think she would also help around the household, but was not treated as someone like help. More likely, she was treated like a family. They embraced her. Boy even gave up his own room for Janice to stay and decided to sleep on the couch in the living room so that Janice would have a private, comfortable space for herself. Mrs. Maguad said that Janice truly was able to win their hearts. It must have been because of her angel face and her sad story. August, a month after Janice moved in, Mr. Maguad sold a pig worth 10,000 pesos. And during that time also, his in-law was quarantined due to COVID, and Mrs. Maguad volunteered to attend to the hospital. So while Mrs. Maguad was at the hospital, Mr. Maguad came to the house to fetch the cash. And to his surprise, the money wasn't there anymore. Yes. Nawala ang 10,000 pesos. And so he asked the three kids kung may pumasok ba sa bahay, posibleng nilooban kasi sila. But according to Boy, since they have dogs, so dapat kumahol yung aso kung mayroong pumasok, kasi even their classmates, pag pumunta sa bahay, the dogs would really bark. So there was no barking incident. So Mr. Maguad came to a possibility na yung kumuha ng pera is from the inside of the house. Now they searched the house, and where did they found the 10,000 pesos? At Janice's backpack. Here, you can use this to demonstrate. Thanks, Zam. So, yeah. Nakita nila yung 10,000 pesos sa bottom ng backpack. Dito, yes. Tinanggal to dito, tas nilagay yung 10,000, tas tinahe. Niro agad nila, nakita dyan, no? Yes. So, that was where they found the money. So, when they confronted Janice, umiyak lang siya, and she probably said sorry, and then Gwen once again convinced her parents na to forgive Janice and let her stay.
Gwen really wanted Janice to be there, no?
Janice?
Must it be because she really wanted to have a little sister?
Probably. The family moved on from that incident, and they even became closer to Janice. Janice was tagged wherever the family would go, so bit siya, like a family talaga. And the three of them, Gwen, Boy, Janice, would even do TikTok videos. Sometimes Boy and Janice, the three of them, and then oftentimes Janice and Gwen. You could see on this TikTok video the sisterly bond, no? You can really notice it here, and they're even wearing twinning pajamas. December 10, 2021, being educators, Mr. and Mrs. Maguad were off to work. But 2:58 p.m., Janice sent a message to the family group chat saying that 3 men with face masks came inside the house and attacked them. They got Gwen and Boy Boy while she was able to run and hide to her room. She was also able to post this on Facebook. Upon receiving the alarming message, Mr. Maguad rushed to the house at 3:04 p.m. Careful, he took the bolo from his car, and then he opened the gate, and there he found the lifeless body of Boy Boy at the front door with a bloody blanket and then kutsilyo with a broken handle. So talagang grabe yung pagkakasaksak sa kanya. He tried to open the main door, but it was locked. Mr. Maguad ran around the house shouting for Janice, Gwen, Boy Boy, and then he was able to reach the door and he kicked it open but stayed back when he found the bolo sa floor and also the glass, shattered glass. And when he was sure na talagang walang tao sa loob, he came inside the house ever so cautious, and that was when he found in the living room the brutally murdered body of Gwen. Finding the dead body of Gwen on the floor, he was worried, so he called for Janice again, and that was the only time that Janice responded kahit kanina pa siya tawag ng tawag kay Janice. Janice came out of the room with a wet hair, like she took a bath, fresh. The police responded fast as a lightning. They were able to recover the murder weapon, a bat, hammer, knives, a frying pan, and glass of some sort. They were also able to get the statement of Janice immediately, and according to her, there were 3 men wearing masks that barged inside the house and grabbed Gwen and Boy Boy. And get this, according to Janice, unang pinatay si Boy Boy and then followed by Gwen while she was able to run towards the room. And that room was examined by the police actually. And that room, I'm telling you, according to the police, that it looked like it has been ransacked. But there was nothing missing aside from the siblings' phones. Examining the bodies, the family and the police were puzzled kasi half of the body ni Gwen was covered with a bath towel, and they were all like, who could have covered the body of Gwen? And according to the wounds, apparently there was a confrontation, and according to the bruises sa fist ni Gwen, she fought hard until her last breath. And the angulo na tinitingnan ng mga police at first was the land dispute, away sa lupa sa family ni Mrs. Maguad. But according to the sister of Mrs. Maguad, the dispute will never ever lead to killing Gwen and Boy Boy. Parallel to the statement of Janice, the police looked deeper into the crime scene, and after forensic investigation, they learned that actually Gwen was first killed kasi nangingitim na yung katawan niya tapos nilalanggam na yung dugo niya as compared to Boy Boy na fresh pa yung cuts and yung blood. Taliwa sa unang statement ni Janice na unang pinatay si Boy Boy, then Gwen. The time of the crime was also identified, and it was around 2 in the afternoon.
Wait, that doesn't really make sense. I remember that Janice sent a message sa GC nila at around 2:58 p.m. Yes, and she posted at around 3 p.m. sa Facebook. Now what happened to the 1-hour window?
The police asked Mr. Maguad if he recognizes the murder weapon, the bat, the hammer, and Mr. Maguad positively identified that the bat is of Boy Boy's. Kay Boy Boy yun. And the bat was actually kept sa kwarto ni Janice kasi nga, di ba, originally kwarto yun ni Boy Boy. And the hammer also. Since Mr. Maguad is making this bamboo furniture, I don't know if this is a side business of the family or personal consumption, personal use. So one day, Mrs. Maguad asked Gwen and Janice na linisan yung area and also keep the martilyo since there are visitors that are coming over. And therefore, the only persons that would know where the bat and the hammer could be Boy Boy, Gwen, and Janice. The wounds were examined by the police, and according to the police, talagang pinahirapan yung magkapatid. The wounds were not inflicted by a grown individual, a grown person. The force used sa wounds were actually of that of a young individual. And I have a friend from Cotabato. She sent me the photos of the siblings sa morgue, and it was, for the lack of word, it's gruesome, it's inhumane, and out of decency and out of respect, I will not share those photos here, and I'm going to do that for all my videos na in the future. And I do not recommend you searching or sharing those photos. What I can share is that it took days for the morgue to reconstruct the corpse of the siblings. Now, sa una pa lang, Mr. Maguad was actually very puzzled as to how come a potential witness slash survivor was able or had the energy to take a bath after the incident. Well, if I was in her position, I would be able to, oh my God, take a bath. Kahinahinalaism. When Janice was asked, sabi ni Janice, she was very shocked that she wanted to take a bath. Mas kahinahinalaism. And do you know what's even weirder? Is that on that day, Janice started to call Mr. and Mrs. Maguad Mama and Papa.
What? Tell me she did not.
She did. Yes, and later on that investigation, the police found a plastic bag na may mga damit sa loob, blood-stained, na tinapon sa likod ng bahay ng mga Maguad. There was an irrigation doon, tinapon, and it was believed to be the clothing na sinuot ng mga suspects. And they decided to throw the clothes sa irrigation to get rid of the evidence. Kaya lang, hindi siya naanod kasi sumabit sa sanga. So there are a lot of suspicions, okay? So it started nung hindi nagtugma yung talagang statement niya sa mga findings ng mga police, and also yung room kung saan siya nagtago, ang kalat-kalat. Diba dapat hindi ka magulo if you were trying to hide. Also, the netizens were fast to speculate regarding her post. Kasi, how come, kung if you were in a life-threatening time daw, how come you were able to spell out every word correctly, perfectly, with bunch of emojis pa? Now, there is an attorney here on YouTube that debunked that. Well, attorney, you didn't had a life-threatening scenario siguro. Well, I had. Well, you know yung tatakbo ka, yung may humahabol sa'yo, tapos dadapa-dapa ka. Well, that, my friends, are true. Your heart is racing. Your whole body is shaking. You cannot run. So, parang the same lang din yun sa scene na yun. So, complete ako mag-chat. But if I am in that situation, I'm scared of my life, my perpetrators inside our house, I don't think I will be able to correctly spell every word and put a bunch of emoji in there. Also, one thing, after niyang mag-post sa Facebook, immediately tumawag yung boyfriend ni Gwen sa kanya. And she answered. Only that she did not say any word. And then yung background daw is like dead air. No commotion, nothing. Nada. December 16, 2021, 6 days after the murder, Janice submitted an extrajudicial confession confessing to killing Gwen and Boy Boy. She also confessed that she had an accomplice, Carl, 17 years old, who is a sacristan who has been serving the church. And the screenshot of the conversation of the murder plot was also made available to the public. It was shared. It was leaked, which only supports that the murder was planned, like premeditated. With the two final resolution, a double murder case was filed against the two minors and was elevated to the regional trial court. December 20, 2021, the siblings were put to final rest, and according to an interview with Mr. and Mrs. Maguad, they did not celebrate Christmas and New Year's Eve, as it is a family thing, preparing food, eating together. They can just celebrate without their kids. The family expressed how they feel the unfairness of DSWD through their Facebook posts, and Mrs. Maguad wrote, and I quote, "I saw how they handle with care and protection the suspects, leaving my innocent kids alone inside their coffins, who didn't savor the privilege of their rights." So basically, they feel like they are being deprived of the Section 20E of the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act, where DSWD should not only extend their assistance to the minor suspects, but to the family of the victims as well. And right now, the couple is undergoing psychosocial therapy. On the 53rd day schedule of arraignment, Mrs. Maguad shared on her Facebook her sentiments, her feelings. And I quote, let me read it to you, as she said that, "We saw the perpetrators in the court with no remorse. One was properly dressed, wearing black long-sleeved shirt tucked in blue jeans, wearing sunglasses as she entered the court, guarded by a DSWD worker and a policewoman in civilian attire, while the other was escorted by the DSWD worker and his parents. I was jealous to see them looking good, overly protected. I would like to confront them or wanted to look them in the eye to ask them why. But I just tightly hold my husband's hand and cried because we couldn't do anything, because the law is protecting them." They also shared their sentiment how hard it is to actually get justice in the Philippines, and just when I thought how hard it is to be in their shoe, to be in their position, Mrs. Maguad posted on her Facebook that the bodies of the siblings are scheduled to be exhumed, nahukayin ulit for further autopsy. Now, I don't know what further evidence is still needed since the suspects already confessed. Basin tunod Zai if napailaing kasabot SM. Right, so they could be punished as well. Well, for that possibility, I think the exhumation is worth it. Also, since I went through Janice's account, you can also go and see, but did I mention that after nung the netizens were speculating of the loopholes, Janice changed her name, her Facebook name, to JP. Yes, and she also deleted some posts. And yeah, also on the morning of December 10, around 8 a.m. to 12 p.m, ang dami niyang cryptic messages, like a lot. I think mga, I don't know, 15 shared posts na may mga laman. And one of these posts are yung balang araw, lahat ng soon natin magiging finally. Ano yung soon mo, Janice? Na you'd be the only daughter, the only child? Oh my God. Basta you can go and see the posts that have been talking about. Now, you might also wonder what pushed the angel-faced to do such gruesome crime. I mean, she's pretty, napakaamo ng mukha. The police learned that Janice is actually not an orphan. Her parents were separated, and her mother left to Davao for work, and Janice was left to her father's care. Now, in an interview with Newsline Philippines and Janice's mother, kunento niya doon that Janice's father was irresponsible. He would leave the family, Janice, the mother, and the 3 siblings sa bukid with nothing to eat but kamote, and sometimes daw hindi nakakakain ng rice once a day yung family. And so she needed to go to work and leave the kids sa Davao. And so kaya doon naiwan si Janice sa father niya, and since then she had been in and out of DSWD for 8 years. I don't know what made Janice said those na wala na siyang parents when apparently her parents are alive. Probably because this is just an assumption, kasi this is very common for those children who were abandoned by their parents. No, they regard them as dead. Janice was longing for a loving, supportive parents, and she found that with the Maguads. Only that she doesn't want to be just the schoolgirl. She wanted to be the only daughter. Now I actually understand why people are associating or comparing this case, this actual case, to a movie, The Orphan. I myself have already watched that movie, and I can attest to you all that the movie and this case is not analogous. They are not similar, for God's sake. But this movie might have influenced Janice to do the crime, because in an interview, Mr. Maguad recalled na
Remember ko, she was introducing one of these movies, The Orphan.
The Orphan.
Yes, The Orphan. But I said, no.
if there is one thing that the Maguad case and the Orphan movie has in common, is that Janice is as twisted as Esther. And whoever did this, oh my god, the effort. Credits to the owner, by the way. And that is so far the progress of the Maguad case. The siblings are scheduled to be exhumed on January 6. And my heart burns for Mr. and Mrs. Maguad. What promising, what good children they had. Rest in peace, Gwen and Boy Boy. And I am for the Maguad's family that the Juvenile Justice Welfare Act of 2006, shall it be necessary, be amended or implemented properly. There should be an amendment na, kasi it is just too unfair na we have this number of cases committed by children. No, we cannot deny that. And it's just too unfair na sometimes kahit nakapatay, these suspects are not jailed because they are not criminals, but children in trouble of law. Yeah, I think for minor offenses maybe. Pero yung nakapatay ka, I don't know, it's just too hard for the family to accept kasi. Yeah, but also, I also get the point na some children deserve second chances or to straighten their lives, kasi hindi na mas-straighten if ever they will be put to jail. But then, I'm really torn. I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about the Juvenile Justice Welfare Act of 2006? Please comment down below. Let's have a good discussion. Huwag tayo mag-away-away. Let's have a smart discussion down at the comment section. Ako personally, I have a message for Janice. I know she won't be able to hear this, but there were some hearsay here sa Facebook that Janice can still use social media while at the care of DSWD. But then, ito na, I have a message to Janice. Girl, you lost your one good shot to change your life. You know what? I can relate to this. I was also given a chance. I was supported by my relatives. You know, the Maguad is very willing to send you to school. They fed you, they treated you like their own. I was once in your shoe, and I chose to change my life. I chose to work hard, to study hard. You just lost your one good shot at life. Bisayang gyud nimo, day. Masyado kang ambisyosa. You should have been contented. Yun, and right now, the Maguad family is not really as triumphant pa kasi ongoing pa yung arraignment, ongoing pa yung case, and they are really hoping to get the maximum penalty for the suspects because of the murder of their children. And I know we all know, we understand kung saan sila nanggagaling, but the thing is, the suspects are minors and they are protected by law. May justice be served soon, because justice delayed is justice denied. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Bye! Yes! We're done! Nakakapagod pala mag-vlog, no? Sabadya, naghanap ako get to car.